Birds are singing, skies are blue. The world's awake, it's time for you. Start it right, you know it's true. Anson in the morning.
That's right. It's Anson in the morning. I'm here, you're there. Let's get this thing going. So I've been growing my hair out, and as you can see, it does this thing where it gets these little curlies, and I look like a duck's ass while I'm doing it. But when it grows out, it'll be back to my shoulders, and I think we'll be okay. So I'm not going to worry too much about it. Welcome to Anson in the morning. As you guys know, this is my little sounding board platform where I come on here and I bitch about whatever's bothering me, or who's bothering me, or sometimes I just go over core memories of my life and a living video notebook for my kids and my grandkids and everybody else as we go through life. So that'll be interesting to see how this experiment of Anson in the morning turns out. I'm just going to take these out because today I'm not going to lose one. Okay, so let's talk about it. I'm still getting over this damn cold, man. Like you see in my eyes, I haven't fully recovered. I got the snots, the body aches. I mean, I don't know if I got the COVIDs or what, but this is one of the worst flu things I've had in so long. Like I have not gotten over this in 2.5 weeks. It's ridiculous. I've tried everything. The only thing that keeps me going, guys, honestly, is my nose spray. If I can't breathe when I'm sick, and you see the size of this honker. If I can't breathe when I'm sick and there's no airflow coming through here, I am a grumpy Anson, but that's okay. Because I've got my nose spray. I take my one a day vitamins, sometimes a little NyQuil to help me sleep at night, but we're getting through it. It's just, God, it won't go away. And so I've been slow around the house. I'm a stay-at-home dad, as you guys know. I'm here for my kids when they're at school. I'm working around the house and picking them up from school and all that crap. And for the last 2 weeks, man, it's just I've been down. Like, do you know what it's like when you're when you're the person that cleans the house and you've been down for 2 weeks? It's not great. I mean, my house isn't filthy. Okay, let's not get off on that track. It's not garbage. It's just, I haven't gotten in there to mop the kitchen floor, or I haven't mopped the downstairs, or little deep cleans like that I do every week that make me feel better. I just have not had no energy to do it. You just haven't. So I need to start cleaning again, get myself back up off my feet now that I'm starting to feel a little better. And I really am. I am starting to feel better. I'm starting to get myself back up. But holy moly, kids, this has been a killer for Spicy. And for Anson, sorry. Fat and Spicy show. So because I haven't been feeling well, I've been trying to decide, what am I going to talk about on Anson in the morning? I don't know. I wasn't in the right headspace to figure out what I was going to talk about this week. And I'll tell you, one of the few things that I do that always makes me feel better is I play video games. Helldivers. If you guys are familiar with Helldivers 2, that's one that I've been playing just about since it came out. And I've got my little core groups of buddies that I play with. I play with Frank, or I play with Russ and Mike. Boy, 2 different classes of Helldivers. No offense to either of them, but it's 2 different experiences. So when I play Helldivers with my boy Frank, you guys know him as Mr. GB. He comes in the chat every now and then, says, hey, you hear me talk about Frank. When we play, it's very methodical. We have the things on the map we have to do. We get them done, all of them, and we get out. And we can do that on level 6. We can do that on level 10. No problem. It feels like when I'm with a larger group, like with Mike and Russ, I don't know. It's like we all used to work together, or Mike used to work across the street from us, but me and Russ used to work together at the brewery. And we have a great rapport and we have a lot of fun. And so that makes it fun to play. But that's the problem, is it becomes boy, my eyes are really puffy, aren't they? I can see them in the monitor. It becomes a buddy fest. Like Frank and I, we'll talk our kibitzing while we're playing, and we'll screw around and have a few drinks and laugh. But it ain't nothing like it's so businesslike. And I love that. I love it. I'm not arguing about it at all. It's got its point in the game, right? Frank and I can have a few drinks. Saturday we drank it up. Even though I wasn't feeling great, we still went and fucking drank it up and played some games and had a great time. When I went to Portland, same thing, except we stopped playing after a little while and just kept drinking and talking. But hold on a second, guys. I don't know where this came from. Anyway, got a message from my dad saying, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I love my dad. So anyway, I'm sick and I'm sitting there playing Helldivers with my boy Frank, and I'm like, what am I going to talk about on Monday? And he's like, well, why don't you talk about music? It's one thing that you absolutely know. You're so wrapped up in the world of music, which I am. I've got soundtracks for fucking everything, including Helldivers. You know, I'll put my little earpiece in and I'm playing with Frank, and I've got him in one ear and I've got King Diamond in the other. Grandma, what was it like? You know what I do. And but music's always been a big part of my life. If you guys know anything about me, you know, I was always in a choir. I was always in a band. I was always doing something. You know, I'm driving down the street in my car, you know, singing it up. And I don't know why music has been, well, I do, I have an idea, but music's been such an integral part of my life that you stop thinking about why you like music and you start thinking about how am I going to get the next music? You know what I mean? Like what's out there for me? So I'm thinking about it. What is it about music that's just, I mean, it's great. It's also dependent on the mood you have. You know, I've had days where I'm blue, you know, not feeling the greatest, and I don't want to listen to Metallica. I want to put on some Neil Diamond and hear Song Sung Blue, weeping on my pillow, you know, and it's what the music is. And I don't know, man. It's music soothes the savage beast, they say. I don't know, but I know it soothes this beast. I mean, even sometimes when I am feeling shitty and you do put on some heavy metal or something hard, you know, like I was having one day at work, and I just couldn't find a song that encapsulated my feelings. So I'm going through my library, and there it is. Skid Row, 18 in Life. If you haven't heard the song, hear the song. It's a great song. It's got a great guitar riff in the middle of it. It's, you know, Sebastian Bach from fucking, I just said it. Anyway, 18 in Life, Skid Row. It's just a good song. It's angry. It's about a young dude who's angry and lost and doesn't know what to do and gets in trouble. And there's the other thing I like about music, man, is these songs, they're 3-minute stories. In 3 minutes, you can learn this whole, like, let's take 18 in Life, right? You learn this whole kid's life story from the time he was a kid until he was grown up in 3.5 minutes. Find out he killed a guy, his life's over, but it explains everything about him in 3 minutes. If you love stories and history and shit like I do, like just last night, I'm watching a documentary on the Nuremberg trials. What, 1946? They had the Germans on trial for war crimes because of World War II. This is a great documentary. I love them. I love them a lot because they tell a great story. You can, and I like real stories. You know, that's why I like history. They're true fucking adventures that people have had. Can you believe this? Anyway, let me get some coffee. My throat's already dry. I'm still not feeling 100%. I'm about 92%, I would say. Hold on. So after Frank and I are playing Helldivers, I'm sitting there thinking, you know, he's right. Music has been everything to me. Can I write an Anson in the Morning show? Because I do. You know, I put my notes down and talk to you guys about all the stuff that's on this paper. Can I write a show that's about just music? And the more I started doing it, the more memories and thoughts come in. So yeah, of course I'm going to do it today. So first off, music is very dependent on mood. I've realized that's something I've got circled here on my paper. Dude, if you're driving, so I live in Crescent City, California. We are, 10 miles, 15 miles from the Oregon border. It doesn't take that long to drive up north. It's about 6-hour drive to Portland, 6-hour drive to San Francisco. We're right in the middle. And I've driven both. When I'm going to Portland, there's a radio station. called 102.7 The Drive. And it starts around just before Grants Pass. It'll take you up to Roseburg and then almost to Portland. And then when you get to Portland, oh man, the radio choices. You have a billion radio stations. So I just drove up to Portland last month, and I'm going through the radio, month and a half. I'm going through the radio stations, right? And it's in Portland, and it, 5 Latino stations back to back, 6 news stations, 10 music stations. 5 of them are top 40, 4 of them are country, 1 of them's classic rock. You know what I mean? 92.3 KGON. If you know, you know. And I live here in Crescent City, and we have 2 radio stations, one that comes from here and one that comes from Brookings, which is Oregon, not too far up the road though. So about the same news. Do you know what I mean? The things are similar. Incidents happen, so you get the same news. And the music is kind of classic rockish. Now, I would give anything to have, back in Portland, we had a radio station called Sunny 910. And then it became Sunny 1520. And what it is, it was a station that played stuff like 50s and 60s and 70s stuff. Frank Sinatra at nighttime on Sundays, they had a show it was just all Sinatra songs for an hour, and then Sidney, his buddy, would come on there and tell stories about Sinatra, and he recorded this song in 1940 with this guy and this guy and this guy. And it's just a fascinating music show. We don't have stuff like that out here in the country, man. You get those in the big cities, you get those in Portland, you get those wherever, but we can't get that here. So I have to kind of create it myself. So what do? I go onto YouTube, I make a playlist. Again, mood specific, and I have many. I've got one for cleaning the house. And you'd think it would be like, because I'm happy, come along if you... No, it's not that happy stuff. When I listen around the house, it's usually like some Barry Manilow. I write the songs that make the whole world sing. I don't know why. It's like that. The older music when it comes to cleaning just feels right. Maybe because my dad used to have it on. I'm sure that's why. My dad used to put it on when he was cleaning the house. We used to have these intercoms on the wall. And it was a big box, right? Big. And not only was it a push to talk, but you could also set a radio station that would play through every intercom through the house. So all the time, all you had was music going through the house. So I remember on a Saturday, I'd be vacuuming or doing shit. And we even had a cleaning lady. And with a cleaning lady, I still was cleaning on Saturdays. That's how my dad was. So we'd put on the old cleaning station, the old Sunny 910 and just clean. And there was something refreshing to it. The fresh smell of the house, the music, which was just pure. You weren't having My Wet Pussy. None of that, dude. It was that none of that existed because we listened to good music. I even worked at Christian radio stations. And the reason I worked at Christian radio stations, because it was very easy to get a job there. For somebody who wanted to be in broadcasting and actually work in a radio station, you're not going to get in at Z100, the top 100 station, top 40 station in town. They've got their talent. Everybody wants to work there. But it was easier to get in at the Christian stations because nobody wanted to work there. And I went to Christian schools all my life, so I kind of had an in. Oh, I went to Southwest Bible School. Oh, you did? Oh, great. Well, tell you what, come on in and come sit down with us on Saturday and do a show. And that's how I got my start in music radio. And it never went any more than that because what I fell in love with really was talk radio. For a guy who loves music and works in radio, you think I would be, hey, it's, Anson in the morning, blah, blah, blah. No, I love the talk radio, man, because these guys were smart. And I didn't agree with half of them, but I got fed information one way or another. And even though we didn't have politics, I'm still, we had a guy named Jerry Dimmitt who's long passed away. And this guy was one of the weirdest dudes I've ever met. The Jerry Dimmitt Show. He was just a nutball, but he was the goofiest dude off air. You know what I mean? So when he's on air, he was like, and the Republicans this, and the Democrats this, and blah, 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 blah. But when he was off air, dude, we would laugh. We'd go outside and have a cigarette. He'd be joking it up with me, and he's just a cool dude. And that kind of got me, okay, you can push the buttons in music, and, it's 15 minutes past the hour, 72 degrees. The time is 4:33 p.m., whatever. And you got to do the station identifier. That's my time to be on the air. When these talk show guys come on, I notice that they really enjoy talking to their producers. And I'm behind this big ass board pushing buttons, and I got sliders, and I'm putting in 8-track carts everywhere, and got the commercials lined up. I've got a playlist in front of me of commercials I got to play on the hour. And I fell in love with it, dude. Like, I don't think I could be a music DJ. Like, I could. Absolutely, I could. In fact, Jacob and I are kind of working on something right now for the PNS studios where you'll see, it's in the works. We're actually physically working on this. But I think if I were to go back to radio, I don't know if I'd want to do music. I think I'd want to go back to talk radio just as a producer, because the work is more fun. You have somebody across from you that's bouncing ideas off of this producer. On that show, it was my job to come up with the sound effects for stupid shit. Like one day he was talking to a caller on air, and she said something. He goes, "Oh, I do bird calls." And I gave him hold on, grab a cart, put it in, and play a cuckoo clock. Boom, boom, cuckoo. He's like, "Don't you love my sound effect? Don't you love my bird calls?" Stupid shit like that. And although we didn't, like I said, get along politically, when I could pull those things off on a board, man, he was happy as shit. And I've never had that from music radio. But then again, let's be honest, my music radio has all been Christian radio stations, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, dude. Some of these Christian stations, even though I'm not a Christian, the music's not half bad. It's got a good beat. It's still music. So what they did with me was they put me on this show from 6 p.m. They put me on a shift from 6 p.m. till midnight. And from 6 to 10, I ran tape sermons and church shows and shit, right? But from 10 to midnight, I would always run this show called Warm Sounds of Love. And I'd get to come on and in a soothing voice, "You're listening to Warm Sounds of Love on whatever the station is, Christian, KKSL, KKPZ, Portland. Up next, Amy Grant." You got to give them the soft tone. And even when I tried to give them the soft tone, I was told by my producer, by my program director, he's like, "Anson." He called me in the office one day after I was doing an afternoon show. He goes, "Anson, I got to talk to you. You're too rock and roll, dude. This is Christian music. You're too rock and roll." And I'm like, "Welcome to KKPZ. Up next, we have Working Out with Jesus." How is that too rock and roll? I don't know. But it didn't fit what they wanted. So what they had me do was they moved me from that show over to this new show. Now, most of the music I play, like I said, was on a show called Warm Sounds of Love, WSOL, Warm Sounds of Love. And it was 2 hours of me just pulling CDs, putting them in the machine, hitting play, doing all the commercials and shit. And it was fun. But after a while, they moved me to the show called Spy Satellite Radio. And this show happened at midnight. So they're like, "Yeah, we know you get off at midnight, dude. What do you say you stay till 2 a.m., make it from a 6 to an 8-hour shift?" And dude, I'm in a radio station. I don't give a fuck how long I work there. I'll work there for 12 hours a day. I love the job. I'm like, "Yeah, I'll produce whatever you guys want me to. What is it?" He goes, "Well, it's a youth Christian show. And they play a lot of Christian alternative music." I'm like, "They make that?" Because up until that time, I'd heard about DC Talk, who was like this Christian rapper, and Petra, who was like this 80s metal band Christian group. So I'd heard about some of this stuff, and I like Petra, it's fine. But I'd never seen it done by a bunch of kids fully tatted up, with face tattoos and outside smoking cigarettes. And then they go inside and they do this Christian show where they're playing Christian rock. And they're like, "Let's pray before the show. And, well, we're going to take some prayer requests. And Cynthia's got a problem with her homework. So, Cynthia, we're going to pray for you right now." And I'm like, I'm too rock and roll. These guys are all, I couldn't even believe they were Christians, but they were sweet guys. And they had this great show. And I got turned on to Christian alternative, which is, it sounds like Nirvana, but instead of Smells Like Teen Spirit, it's like Smells Like Jesus's whatever. I don't know. But it was good shit. Like, it wasn't bad. So I got exposed to my whole life, exposed to a bunch of different music, sometimes accidentally. When I was in high school, I was all about Billy Joel. Uptown Girl, the album Stormfront, which was one of the first CDs I ever bought. It did everything right for me. It was "On Down Easter Alexa," or "Captain Jack will get you high tonight." I always felt like the guy that he was singing about. He's singing about some kid who's growing up. The streets are tough. Ain't got a lot of money, but there's an uptown girl I like. You know what I mean? So music just clicked with me more and more and more and more and more, to the point that in high school, I was in the choir, I was in the band, and at one point, one of our band teachers was like, "Do you want to teach band when I'm not here?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, I love this." And there was a minute there where I was like, "Shit, I could be a music teacher. Maybe I could do this. Maybe this would be something for me." But I hate kids. Not my kids. I love my kids. I hate other people's kids, and I don't want to teach them shit. So get out of here. But Billy always felt like he was a kid talking to me. You know, times are tough, and this is what I got to do. Plus, I've got this thing where, and it's not, I'm not boasting, but if I listen to a song twice, I know the fucking song. I can tell you the lyrics. I can tell you what it means. You know, I can pull some rando 70s song and give you a lyric from halfway through the song, not even the title that lets you know what it is. You know what I mean? And I do it to entertain Frank and I, really, because he knows the same shit. His dad listened to the same stuff I did. And we kind of all grew up listening to what our parents listened to until we get our own means of audio, right? Like our own record player in our room or whatever. Like for me, I think I told this on one of my things. It was when I was in the fifth grade. I was 5 years old, and for 6 years old. And for Christmas, I got a transistor radio. It was a little GI Joe transistor. It was a little camouflage. It had a little dial, only AM, but it picked up 1190 KEX, and they played good music. And I'll never forget. Again, I've talked about these memories over and over, different memories on the show, but I'll never forget that while I was listening to that transistor in my room in Oregon City, Oregon, when I'm 6, I guess that's why they call it the blues, by Elton John. Came on that little transistor. I had it up on the window, and I'll never forget. It was dark. I was in my room. My room was lit, but it was dark outside, and there was a blizzard. There was a fucking blizzard going on. But I'm warm in my home, and I guess that's why they call it the blues. You know, that's playing, and you get washed over with the sense of I don't know, calm and peace. And I don't know that anything else can do that like music can. I mean, drugs, of course, but that'll fuck up your brain. Music is not like that. I mean, it is a drug, you know. Third Eye Blind said it in Semi-Charmed Kind of Life. The 4 right chords can make me cry. And I think that's true of anybody. You know, you hear the right 4 chords put into the right chorus, and it brings these emotions and these feelings, and there's got to be something in connection with physics. Because, you know, I haven't talked to you really about how much I love physics, but I'm a big physics nerd. And when I hear about string theory and how everything in this world is made of vibrating strings, it makes me think, well, is music just a larger interpretation of the small harmonies made by these microscopic strings that rule our universe? And if so, then are we just hearing the music of the universe? I think it's kind of a neat thought. I mean, maybe it's goofy and outlandish, but to me, I'm like, the two can't be dissimilar, right? They're like the strings that vibrate in our universe make the same kind of tones that like plucking a guitar string would make. So plucking a guitar string is just interpreting the universe on a larger level so that we can hear it, right? I mean, isn't that what music is? And why does it affect us so deeply? I'm talking about the universe. I've always wondered, if an alien came to Earth and heard Metallica, would they get it? Do they have their own intro? Like, so the usual rock band, singer, guitar player, rhythm guitar player, bass player, drums, right? So 4 to 5 people usually. Usually the lead singer is your rhythm guitar player, right? So if that's the case, what do aliens have? Like, you go to you watch Star Wars, and in the cantina they're playing these weird instruments, but one was still percussion, one was still the rhythm. But that's because that was our interpretation of space music, right? That was John Williams. What would it be like? Do they even understand that putting together tone and percussion with feeling equals song? I mean, it boggles my mind, like how we came up with the 5 instruments that we did. And then you look at some other bands, like you look at the Latino music or oompa music, right? The German oompa, they're both really similar, aren't they? Like Hispanic ranchero music and German oompa music. They're so similar. They'll have like the accordions and the the tubas and the all the shit that goes with it, the mariachis with the trumpets, and it's all very similar. So it kind of makes you wonder how music influences each other over the globe and how it travels and mitigates. And I'm no music professor, so I don't know, and I'm not even going to get close to getting in on that today. I don't give a shit about that. I do give a shit, but I don't understand. So I'm not going to talk about how music can travel the globe and change. Well, I mean, it's just like anything, like food, right? You take Chinese pasta and Marco Polo runs it around the world and takes it to Italy, and now all of a sudden we've got spaghetti. Well, it wasn't an Italian dish. But the question was, what was the Italian dish before the spaghetti showed up? Because we don't really know. All we know is pasta, right? We're making pasta fagioli and we're making lasagnas and spaghettis and Alfredo and everything with the noodle. We didn't have noodles until the explorers came back. So what was it before then? Was it even close? Was the music even close before look at the Beatles. The Beatles go to India and they're sitting with Ravi Shankar, whatever the hell his name is, the guru, and he's showing them how to play the sitar. And then next thing you know, it's starting to slowly get incorporated in some of the Beatles music, which was kind of neat and also a little annoying. I didn't want to hear that. I didn't care that was your influence because that's not what I expected. But music is great for communicating. You watch Close Encounters of the Third Kind. What did they do to communicate with the ship? Da, 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 da. You know what I mean? It was a tone. It was a musical element. It was all something. So music's been a big thing, but I'm still trying to figure out because I've been kind of stuck in my niche since I was a freshman, sophomore in high school. And it really wasn't until I worked at Circuit City and I worked in the computer department. And the computer department was right next door to the music department. Like we were one shelf separated us. And they had this big circular TV and they were always playing, songs or music videos. So it would be Britney Spears and Backstreet Boys, Backstreet's Back. All right. And by the way, anybody who thinks that Backstreet's Back is a bad song can suck it. It is an amazing song. It's got a good hook. It's got a good beat. Dun, 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 dun. It's got a good dance. They're doing the Michael Jackson thing, it was good. And it got my toe tapping. Now, did I become a fan of Backstreet Boys because of it? I'm going to buy all their albums. No. But can't you appreciate one song without people saying, oh, you're such a loser, dude, listening to Backstreet Boys? I'm like, listen to this song. Don't judge me. Just fucking listen. And if you don't like it, it's over in 3 minutes and another song comes on. So shut the fuck up. But they don't, everybody. We knew this guy named Dave Monroe. I'm going to call you out, Dave. You were the biggest fucking music snob that never deserved it. He's like, oh, have you heard Clark Kent, the band? I'm like, yeah, I have. What about them? If they were great, they'd be on fucking top on the radios. Yeah, I go to the music stores and I look up shit that some people haven't heard of because I want to hear some new sounds. But why aren't all of these on the radio? Because they're not, I don't know, they're not mainstream music. I don't know how to say it. And I don't know why. Like Buckethead. Okay, let's talk about Buckethead for a minute. Wears a KFC bucket, on his face a placid mask, as the song says. And he's the greatest guitar virtuoso, dare I say, in the world. Hold on one second, guys. But because of his look, the mask and the bucket, he's niche. You're not going to hear him on the radio. You might hear, Jordan, dun 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 dun, from Guitar Hero. Really put this guy on the mainstream map from a bunch of guys that had heard random music and shit, So I go to the music store and I pick up a Buckethead CD. Robot Tears, I think it was. Tears of a Robot. I can't remember. And it's amazing. But it's not lyrics. It's not it's all just guitar solos and his band, but because it was just a instrumental, it doesn't hit the mainstream. So what does it take to get somebody like Buckethead mainstream? Well, you got to go and you got to play with Guns N' Roses, which he did, and it was great. I watched an entire concert one night. It was like a 2.5 hour show, Guns N' Roses with Buckethead, and it was absolutely stunning. It was so good. But I realized that as good as he is, guys like that don't belong in Guns N' Roses. He is a virtuoso, not a soloist. You know what I mean? Slash is a soloist. Slash can go out there and kill November Rain with those fingers, and that's he's filling into the song. Bucket plays the whole song without words because you don't need words when he plays. And then he played with Primus for a while, and Primus is great. But the problem is he's playing with these bands that already have a niche, and they're not. I don't know. These are bands that don't need to step outside themselves to reinvent themselves because they got 1 billion albums sold. Your Guns N' Roses and you're touring with Buckethead in the 2000s. Why weren't you doing this in the late 80s? Because you had Slash and you had these guys, and Slash was just fine. Slash was great. I love Slash. I think Slash is probably one of the greatest soloists out there. Now, I said Buckethead is a virtuoso, but Slash is a soloist. I mean, just the November Rain alone should settle it. Should settle that whole argument. Who's one of the best soloists in the world? Slash. And everybody's gonna say, "Oh, whoever, Mark Knopfler." Shut up. To me, but that's what it's about, right? That's the beauty of it. Is music. It can be so subjective and personal and everything you need all at once when you need it. And that's why I took it. I started buying DVDs when I worked over at Circuit City. And this is when my little music brain was starting to peak, right? And I'm starting to realize, oh shit, there's not just one kind of music. There's 1 billion kinds of music. And what's one of the coolest kinds of music that we all listen to every day that we don't realize we're listening to? Fucking soundtracks. Soundtracks to the TV show, soundtracks to the music. How one violin sound going can get your hackles up and, oh shit, something's going to happen, the suspense. And it's the music that allows that. Look at John Williams, the composer of Star Trek. Would those movies be half as amazing without that grandiose fanfare? Dun, da, 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 you know what I mean? It's that gives us that bolster. Okay, something cool is going to happen here. You know what I mean? It makes the film. And then I start watching, as I get older, movies that I should have been watching, like heavy metal. Not going to watch it when I'm older, but when you're a kid, you can't watch heavy metal. And you realize, oh, wait, that's Journey. That's A, that's B. Those are all these bands. That's, Don Henley or whoever. You can start picking them out. And then you realize, dude, if you want to hear the best music in the world, just go watch a movie. Now, heavy metal was different. They were showcasing the music and the animation and everything else. And John Candy did great in that cartoon. So if you want to check it out, Ivan Reitman, all of these guys, or Harold Ramis, they were all in. It was fucking amazing. Check it out. Let's see, where am I at on this list? We're at 33 minutes in. I liked Guitar Hero. It was a fun game. It was cute. You know me, I love video games. But it also opened my mind up to a bunch of music I never would have heard beforehand. Like, it's 9 in the afternoon or whatever the hell the name of the song is. All these different songs that I've never been exposed to or never would be without, games that put them in your face and make you play them. And you stop thinking, oh shit, it's challenging. You start grooving to the song, Now, I love it. What kills me now is the new music. New music is tough. And it's tough for me. And I'll tell you why it's tough for me. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Talks about a dude whose dad grew up in the Rocky Mountains and passed that love of nature onto him. You've got Uptown Girl. This guy who's in love with this girl that's just out of his league, but he's going to make it happen. I'm going to get there. November Rain. It's hard to hold a candle, dude. You got, your love was shot down and you don't have what you had anymore. and your heart bleeds. I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. What won't you do? You won't fuck it up. You won't do that. You already said in the song, you fucked it up before. You need that time when the planets are turning and the wheels are burning and all your prayers are coming true. You better believe it. That I would do anything for it. These songs. But no, you turn on the music today and what do you got? My wet ass pussy. Who cares? From the window to the wall while the sweat drips down my butt. Shut up. Do you have to be like that to get your point across? Does that make good music? No, it doesn't. But I'll tell you what the fuck it's doing. It's winning Grammys. You know, they make fun of it. Who won the Grammy that year? Sunshine on My Goddamn Shoulders, John Denver. Yeah, he did because it was good music. And now all of the award shows, and I'm not against hip hop and R&B. There's a place for it, and I actually enjoy some of it. But where's the soft rock classics anymore? Why aren't people making this music? Is it just not acceptable to our era? Is it not okay with the times? Because, you know, the 60s and the 70s, protest music, fight the man, 80s, good time feeling music, right? Because we're all doing drugs and we're all dressed in plaids and patels and sharp angles. You know, it's 1980s. Let's listen to, you know, the Cool in the Gang, all the good shit. Then the 90s came along and you know what? We were all burned out from the 80s. So do we want to go put on our parachute pants and frost our tips and do that vanilla ice hair? No. What do? We throw on a ratty shirt and some torn up jeans to be comfortable. Grunge, right? You got grunge now. And the music reflects those times. Then the early 2000s come along and people really don't know what to do. Are we in the future? Are we in the past? Are we doing shit right? Are we not? So the music of the 2000s was good, but it wasn't stable. You still had a lot of the older guys from the 80s and 90s trying to reinvent music, reinvent the wheel in the 2000s because they thought that's what had to be done. And what it did was it turned it into this rap culture, which I like rap too. You know, back when I was in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, we thought it was cool to pass around Eazy-E and NWA and Humpty and all, you know, Digital Underground and Tupac and shit. We thought it was great. We're passing these tapes. Cassette tapes. That was our way of getting the music around. I'd record something off of another tape, set by, you know, one cassette on one side, one on the other. You could dub tapes. You could just make copies. So one person would get a copy of Eazy-E or something and make copies, and it would go all around this Christian school. Couldn't wait to get home and listen to some guy swearing in rap music. You know, but it was LL Cool J, and like I said, all the, I don't know, Grandmaster Flash, it was all the good stuff. And now everybody's a rapper. You know, I went on YouTube the other day, I went on YouTube last night to do a little bit of research for this episode. And I'm trying to look up even obscure rap artists that never really made it. You guys remember the Island Boys? I'm an island boy with the fucking hair and the tattoos from face to face, and everything was just fucked up looking. And I mean, you're cool, I guess. If you think it's cool, go for it, right? Not everybody likes each other's taste. Some people don't like slick back hair and leather jackets. That's my taste. But how did these guys get to the musical mainstream? Was it because they were clowns? They didn't have any good music. And I'm still, they're in my lexicon. I'm talking about them. So how do you determine good music from bad music? Whose choice is it? Is it a music executive's? Because I remember, hold on. I remember playing Grand Theft Auto, and on the radio, it said, "We're the top 40 station. We find what's cool and play it till you like it." I'm like, oh shit. I wonder if they really do that. They just play it until we like it. But they do, because I worked at Fisherman's Restaurant, and I'm not a top 40 guy, you know, not of this day and age, but they played top 40 station in there all the time. All you had, all the time. I'm trying to dip fish and fry it and make fucking all the shit on the flat top grill and making stuff on the, you know, getting the grilled veggies going on the saute table. And what do I hear? Once I was 7 years old. Great. Problem is, you hear this stuff so much, I know the goddamn song by heart. And then one day it's playing, it was a big, big world, but I thought we would be. And I'm sitting here singing along and cooking. They do it. They shove this shit in your face until your brain doesn't know what to do with it. So, but is it good? Does that make it good, or does that make it profitable? Is Bruno Mars good? Is Katy Perry good? I don't mean the music. The music is sensational. Are they themselves? If you turned off all of the music, all the background shit, it's like, here's a microphone, sing, a cappella, just do it. How many do you think could really do it without the auto-tune or without their band behind them? You know, because I'll tell you, when you have a band playing behind you, it incorporates your voice into it instead of your voice becoming out front. So you are, in a sense, a band, many voices becoming one. Could they do it a cappella? I don't think a lot of them could. I think a very small handful could. I think maybe, and I'm not a fan of any of these people. Like, I don't have their records, but I think maybe Ariana Grande could, because she does have a great voice. She's got a good singing voice, but I haven't heard a lot of her music, so I can't. I never saw Wicked. I don't know. But I've heard her sing a few things. I'm like, it's a pure golden tone. You know, even some of these America's Got Talent or the Mask, not the Masked Singer, but you know, the American Idols and shit. You get some really good singers out of this stuff. Like some really good singers that can do it without a band. So how come these guys aren't headlighting? What's the difference between a guy who's got the golden pipes on America's Got Talent and Island Boys who are cutting a record or on YouTube every 3 seconds and making money for 6 months? But still, I mean, is it that fair? Is it just the music industry itself that's fucking this up? Because I know the music industry itself is responsible for bringing me some of the greatest songs I've ever heard. You know, Quincy Jones producing Michael Jackson's Thriller. Say what you want about Michael Jackson. You know, yeah, he might have done whatevers and he lived a crazy lifestyle, but guess what? He put out fucking Thriller. So shut your fucking mouth. I don't want to hear it. Bill Cosby, he did whatever. He didn't put out no god. I could put out comedy albums in my Jello pudding pop. Get fucked, rot in prison. Michael Jackson, man, he made Thriller. He made Beat It. He made Bad. Good, solid music that he wrote. He put together. You know, look at what's his day? Zero from Smashing Pumpkins. Today is the greatest day I've ever known. What does that song mean? That means he's so depressed and so pissed off about life that the one day that's just mildly not shitty is the greatest day he's ever known. What a good tune. What a good way to put that out to the people, man. You don't get that anymore. You get, I got a wet ass pussy. Cool, yeah. You know what? Go tell it to the guy at the gym. Don't put it on the fucking radio. It's not music. It's garbage. I feel like an old guy. It's obscene. It shouldn't be on the radio. I'm not going to say anything shouldn't be made. You're right. I'm sorry. I mean, one of the greatest moments in the world was when Dee Snider from Twisted Sister sat down in front of Congress and nobody realized that he was an educated man. They thought he was a rocker who wore makeup and spandex and with the long, curly, blonde hair. And he got up and stood in front of Congress and told Tipper Gore, go fuck yourself, but in an eloquent way. Music is about choice. Music is about expression. Music is about freedom. I have a drum set and I got 2 basses over here. I love the bass. I love rhythm. That's why I like the bass and the drums. I love rhythm. But I'll put on my headphones and I'll plug into my sticks and I'll just start banging around on the drums and playing a tune and getting going with whatever's on the radio or whatever I can choose on YouTube, because I think that as much as we love to listen to music, we need to make music. And that's something a lot of people don't care about, is making music. Am I ever going to be in a band? No. Am I ever going to be on a stage playing this? No. But when I put my bass on and I put on a 2-hour Metallica concert and I just sit there and I just play along with every song like I'm on stage with them there in my imagination and playing every right note and getting all those songs down that I worked hard to learn, the emotions can come out. There was a day that I was playing my bass to, what was it? I think it was a Jimmy Buffett concert. But I'm just playing along. And the bass player hit this groove and I'm feeling it. I got the tears because my soul needed that expression. The music is great, guys. Songs are amazing. You can turn on a radio and hear any kind of music you want. Any kind. But to make the music, boys and girls, that's where it's at. I don't care if you're banging 2 spoons together. I don't care if you're tapping your fingers on the desk. Make music. The universe is about these vibrations, right? The string theory, if it's right, the universe is about vibrations. Well, why don't you make vibrations of your own for yourself, not for other people? Other people, we have professional musicians to make music for us. We need to make music for ourselves. And I think that's what a lot of us are missing is the chance to sit down and just make some music for ourselves. I don't mean you have to learn an instrument. Figure out what that music means to you and what your music is and make it. Because I'm going to tell you this, guys. There's nothing worse than when you find somebody with a song in their heart and you try to shut it down. You see somebody driving along in their car singing, don't look at them like they're assholes. Give them a nod. Understand that they're living their life. They need that music to calm or bolster or embolden themselves or soothe. Don't take that away. Don't be a dick, especially when it comes to music. Except for country music. Country music I don't understand. You can go fuck yourself. It's the only one I don't get. I've never understood it. I like the old joke. What happens when you play country music backwards? You get your wife back, your car back, your dog back, your job back. Because but is it any different than rhythm and blues, like the old blues? My dog is gone. The thrill is gone away. Right? It's the same thing. It's talking about heartache and lack of compassion, lack of anything that makes you feel good. But what is it about the country life that makes those music so that, or it's either that all your shit's wrong, or it's I got a big truck and a cold beer and the United States flag is on my hood. I get it, but I don't get it. I can't listen to it, or a lot of I'll tell you what, I just watched my views go from 20 to 0 when I start talking about how much I hate country music. I don't get a lot of it. I also don't get why it's all so patriotic. Because I'm proud to be an American. Yeah, great. Me too. But how come there's no rap songs about proud to be an American? How come there's no heavy metal songs? I mean, aside from maybe Kid Rock, but even he talks about being proud to be a trailer park guy, not an American. So I don't know. Listen, I'll tell you where I'm going with all of this. This whole rant that I've gone on for 47 minutes. It's that music is all about what you need. Even fucking country. Put on a song, find a genre that's right for you, and let it go. Let it go, let it go. I'm going to do a lot of singing this fucking episode. This is a music episode, so you know what you're in for. But you get my point. You got to find the rhythm that suits your mood, that suits your need. And you know what? Like I said earlier in the show, it's not always the same music. I was driving down the street the other day. I was pissed off that I had to go do all of these chores. So I put on King Diamond. Grandma, what was it like? And then once the chores are done and I'm on my way home, because I'm easy like Sunday morning, it's like it just, music is a reflection of mood, and it can either enhance who you are or it can change how you're feeling. Dude, guys, today, or whenever you're watching this show, if you're watching it later on in the day, you're watching it next week, you're watching it a year from now, turn on a station you don't normally listen to. Turn on I'll do it. I'll put on a country station. God damn it. Because I live out here in the fucking sticks. We got country stations up our ass. I'll put on a country station. But everybody, take a challenge with me this week for the new year. Go to a different radio station you don't listen to. Leave it on for an hour. See if something clicks. Try some new music. Explore what could be in your heart. Right? Because God knows it's not the Lord, so might as well fill it with fucking music. Go find a station you don't listen to, put it on, listen to some new music, and see how it is. If you guys don't like it, go into the comments, tell me I'm a schmuck. That's cool. Listen, guys, I'm coming down to the last 10 minutes of the show. I don't have a lot to fill it up with, so I'm going to say this. I got to do the business. I got to do the business. This is when all my viewers leave. Guys, like, follow, subscribe. If you look down below on the little scroller that's right down here, check us out at the PNS Studio on YouTube. You can find this. You can find Fat and Spicy Show. We just did an episode on Thursday. It was fucking brilliant. We had a good time. Jacob was in his truck driving back from a thing because he got screwed out of a motorcycle, but it was a great episode. So these are the kind of things that we talk about, right? Anson in the morning, I just want to bring it down to you. PNS Studios, like the Fat and Spicy Show, is me and Jacob being schmucks, having a good time. We've also got a show called Three Wise Men. Now, it's a little bit different than what a lot of people are used to, but get onto the PNS Studio, go check it out, huh? And then, of course, Behind the Pint, which is a show that I haven't done since the summer of last year because, guys, I'm going to tell you the truth. It's hard to find guests, that want to sit and tell me all their traumas and their tragedies that gone through life. But if you guys want to do that, hit me up here on our YouTube channel or wherever. Put it in the comments. Hey, man, I want to be on the thing. I'll reach out. Let's talk. Let's talk about your life, the trauma you've been through, and how we get over it. Because it's hard to find guests that want to do this. I've had people tell me, hey, man, I want to be on Behind the Pint. Cool. Let's start at the beginning, and then we'll talk about your trauma. Oh, I don't want to talk about trauma. I don't want to talk about my life. Well, that's what the show is. So it can be hard to find people. Anyway, I'm rambling about it. Guys, please go to the comments. Give me a comment. Give me a thumbs up on the video when it comes out in a few minutes. Every little bit helps. It's just like music. Make me think that I'm not doing this for myself and for everybody. Anyway, I'm Anson. This has been Anson in the morning. And I tell you what, guys, my New Year's resolution is to really work on this show, get it going. So we're not going to miss a Monday. I'll see you next week.